you go. Greetings, Richard Carter. How is it back over there? Are you Richard? Is that Richard Carter from Tutbury, or was Tutbury? Oh, I'm just gonna run this by you guys. I'm just gonna run this by you. Just sitting down, and I'm just gonna try and make sense of this, and hopefully it will make sense to everyone else here. You know, we're all talking about the illusions, and then the illusion of things, and what something really is and what something isn't. And you know, as I said, especially with John Alexander of the clan Patterson, the man who was duped by personage of his legal fiction that was created to him. Hey up, Andrew. So I'm just going to run by something and just see if this makes sense. I've just looked into it. I just sat down and I just thought, what? We keep saying about a court, and people ask about this court. Well, hang on. You know, now court, I'm saying C-O-U-R-T, referred to realistically, actually, what we should say is C-A-U-G-H-T, because this is what it is, guys. This is what it's all about. You're getting caught up in a word that they're saying court, and automatically you're thinking, oh, this, you don't really know what it is, do you? Because none of us really know what it is until we do. And we know who it is that's doing these things. So let me, I'm just going to run this by, because I might have to shoot off in a second. So let me just run this by you. And I'm just going to go through a few things. I thought, just click this up. And rather than go over it in my head and just talk to myself in my head, I might as well speak it aloud, don't I? I might as well speak it aloud, and hopefully when the little light bulbs come on in my head to what I'm going to be finding out, it'll also come out in your heads, you know, and we can bounce off each other here, yeah, because this is what it's all about, yeah. I'm never declared to know everything, you know, and we're all a little piece of the puzzle here. So together, many heads make light work, and many heads will see it more clearly, you know, and it's always good for banter. So let's up the word court. Okay. So etymology of the word court. Now then, the word court, right, is a noun. Noun is N-O-U-N. It's spelled noun. N-O means no, as you should know, and U-N means no. So court is a no-no. It's a noun. So right then, late 12th century, formal assembly held by a sovereign. So this is what a court is. This is what it's saying it is, yeah? From Old French court, king's court, princely residence. So okay then, so a court, therefore it's the residence of a sovereign, which is meant to be the king. Ultimately, for those people that do understand what a king is, now when we come down to this, when it comes down to as a level playing field, which is what we're on, that means if it's a level playing field and you wish to choose to call yourself a king, that means you know, you're on level playing fields with the king. But what you have to understand is something that the king or the queen has actually signed on the coronation oath. And therefore there are things that govern the king. Reference to a man who hasn't signed anything. So therefore a man or a woman or a sovereign man or woman is higher than a king, because a king is an actual servant to the man or woman because he's sworn on an oath. And that goes with anyone in public office because they've all sworn on an oath. Whereas the men and women, the people themselves, we are the ones that are free from, because we haven't sworn on an oath. The only thing that we stand, the people stand by, is common sense, which isn't common. But we all know that if somebody causes any of us harm, loss, or injury, then we've had a wrong done to us. And the maxims, the equity meaning the equality on a level playing field, now grants us the remedy, because any wrong that's been committed, the remedy has to be provided. And law provides that remedy in equity. Therefore, okay, then let's have. I mean, what is law? I mean, it's a different question. But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that we should love each other. We should love our neighbours, and also love ourselves. We shouldn't be causing harm to ourselves, neither to our friends and brothers and sisters, our neighbours. So this is what equity is. Yeah, that's the. I'm only talking layman's terms, because I ain't talking into these big posh words, because it needs to be understood by everybody. Yeah, and we can all understand common sense. Yeah, when you can sense something that's obvious. If I did a wrong to somebody, that means they have the right, because my rights end. Yeah, my rights will end where somebody else's rights begin, and their rights end where my rights begin. Now, if I've done a wrong, yeah, that means they have the right for a remedy of that wrong. And if they've done a wrong, I have the right for a remedy for their wrong. Equal, level playing field. So back to the court. I'll look at your comments in a minute, because I'm looking at the page, so I can't really see it. So, from Latin, conturn, courtum, accusation of cause, earlier cohors, enclosed yard, and by extension and perhaps by association with kuria, sovereign's assembly. Now, as you must know, a sovereign isn't a person. Yeah, a sovereign is a man or a woman, surely, yeah? Or even go one step further than a sovereign, we could go for sovereign, which is the sovereign, which is, you're with the one, with the creator, yeah? I'd say. So sovereign, yeah? So a sovereign assembly. So this is a court then, a court is where sovereigns assembly, sovereigns assemble. And those assembled in the yard, which, I mean, it's called a yard, a company, cohort from assimilated form of with together, come together, yeah. Stem, hort, related to hortos, garden, plot of ground. So it's where people come together on a piece of ground. Now, if you remember, when I went over to England, when I went over there to meet up with John Winoa, who was the king of the contract for the flag that you see in my top left-hand corner. That contract was all the laws, let's say, God's spirit law, the laws of the land, all these, the constitutions that people rant on about, and the bills of exchange and so on and so forth, all these were in there. So, all these things that were created, it's all within inside that flag, inside that jurisdiction that we now have to self-govern, self-determine. All these things are in there. And so this is what we was coming over there, to hold a court on the land of sovereigns coming together. So, which obviously, as you should well know, they stopped John Winoa coming into England because they downloaded all of his documentation. They photocopied it. They photocopied all of his documentation, and they downloaded all his data, all the evidence and facts that he'd presented about the contracts with the flag, and all of the stuff that he'd done was with that had gone through Queen's Bench in New Zealand, and they'd all been apostolated and authenticated by the QC through Queen's Bench, like I said, on the 29th of August 2013. So that all John's documents were authentic. What he had exposed about the corruption that the Queen had done, because it was a contract between the kings, not the king, not the Queen. The Queen was a third party. The contract was with the King, the kings. So the Queen had no authority, and John wanted his day in court with the Queen yeah, so that he could expose the fraud and take the ship back and give everything back to the people that's been stolen from the people, from the pirates. But unfortunately, people couldn't grasp what myself and John and others that was involved in that didn't really grasp what was going down here. You know, to regain this Seskey, the Queen Victoria Trust, all the gold that would been, and all the, remember, all of their stuff that they'd stolen to come back. So that was a true court in St. James's Park, was a true court. Just like anything. So these buildings, I mean, why are we necessarily calling them a court? But we're getting it confused. They're calling it a court. We didn't, and we shouldn't call it a court because it's not a court, because it's not, you know, it's like saying somebody's nice, and you know, you're meaning that they're pleasant, but you know what the word nice really means. It means you're stupid and ignorant, and that's what we've been, and they've treated us very nice people. And all it is about the knowledge, and remember, it's the deception of the words. So, both senses of the Latin word emerged in English from the purely physical sense, cum palace residence of a sovereign. 1200 C. Enclosed the space connected with a building or buildings, early 14th century. And the supporting sense, smooth, level plot of ground. This is the level playing field, guys, yeah? On which a ball game is played, because it's just a game. The difference here is, yeah, all your courts as well, I will keep saying it, it's a game. It's a game of vocabulary. This is what it is. These courts are a game of vocabulary because they're just tricking you with their words to bring you in there. And you're going in there thinking you're going in there as a person, and you can go on to understand what a person is, because a person is not a natural person. Because when they say a person, it also in that definition of person is corporation, partnership, so on and so forth. It's ridiculous what their definition of a person is, but they've defined it. They've created this language, but you didn't do your due diligence to understand what it was you were saying when you were saying it, and you didn't know what you meant when you were saying it. And that's the point. And this is where they're tricking you, because remember, the court's a game of vocabulary. And that's all it is. It's a game of vocabulary. One outwitting one another. But these ones, these are working in the dark. They're working in the shadows. They're working on the understanding that you don't understand that they're speaking legalese. You think that they're speaking English. You think the words, what they say, mean something, what you think they mean, rather than knowing what they mean. And therefore you're falling plate, because if you think you know something what's being said to you, then you've been had. It's all a game of bluff, isn't it? Remember that game on television, Paul called Bluff, that program on television where they used to say things. It's all bluff, and you know that they're lying because you can see their lips moving. So it's your duty, yeah, to just stay on point. Don't get taken off into their la la land bullshit lies. Stay on point that you know that's true, and make them define everything that they're stating, because they're not going to be able to define it. Because if they was to give you the finite meaning of what they mean by what they're saying, that would say, no, I don't want to give you the finite meaning of what I want to say, because I want to say something but mean something else. So I don't want to tell you what I mean. If I told you what I mean, then you'd know what I mean, and therefore you would know that I'm trying to deceive you. I don't want to be honest and open, like my public oath, like the Nolan principles tell me that I must do when I'm in a position of office, that tells me very clearly that I have to be honest, have integrity, be selflessness, blah, 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 blah. That means I would have to tell you the truth, but I'm not going to tell you the truth. I'm in my little game. It's my little playing field. Here's my court. This is a game of tennis. Yeah, and I've got a racket. You know, you hear all these things. That's because exactly what it is. It's just a racket. So I carry on. Persons blah, 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 enclosed space connecting buildings. And the sporting sense, smooth level playing field game. So it's just a game, guys. It's just a game. Originally tennis. Also short arm of a public street enclosed by 3 sidings of a building, formerly noted for poverty or as a business district. Form of notion of surroundings of a sovereign. Formal notion, it's just a notion, formal notion, no, right then, just so that we understand words again. From the notion of, notion means no, as you know, as you understand, no means no, and shun is contract. So from the no contract of the surroundings of a sovereign in his regal state comes the legal meaning a tribunal for judicial investigation. Early assemblies for justice were overseen by the sovereign personally. So who's the sovereign here, guys? Are you sovereign? Or are you a person? Are you a corporation? Are you going to answer as the person, as the corporation, the legal embodiment? Or are you going to stand there as a man, yeah, as the sovereign? Yeah. Also, a hall chamber where justice and administered. So who granted them these things? I mean, obviously, it's going to all come down to contract again, isn't it? You know, who's going to administer law? I mean, where did they get the authority to? I mean, this is what John Manoa was stating all along to everybody. You know, whose authority? You know, you're sitting there saying, you know, oh, the Queen, and whose authority? Listen, John Manoa had pointed out clear as clear can be, yeah, that the Queen was a third party to a 2-party contract. Salic law forbid queens anyway. And if you go further back, and I'm not here for kings or queens, guys. I'm not here for kings and queens. Don't ever think it. I never was. I was simply stating it all the way through it, like, yeah, that we have a flag that has got everything in it that we needed. It could be refined, brought back into the now space. This is what I used to always say, bringing it into the now space so that it was put in correct sentence, which communication, parse, syntax, grammar. So it said what it meant and meant what it said. Couldn't be any deception. And it was in the now space, so it was for now and forevermore. It was continual. It was just now, because now is the only time. That's the only time that exists. And if the flag was on that throne, meaning that was at the highest point, that means everybody was under the flag, meaning that everybody had that same rule, which was cause no harm, loss, or injury. And you had the protection within that flag, and also the chastisation, because you've now agreed to this. This is it, because common law, people used to say about common law, well, who created common law? Queen common law or King's common law? You know, so this common law thing has not been agreed to. So common law does not exist until it does exist. Land law is obviously, because all law comes from what God granted us, yeah? And God granted us, the man and women, yeah, the dominion over the land, air and water, which combined is LAW, which makes the law. And these are different jurisdictions, yeah? And obviously, we're talking land here, so we'll just stick with land, because the courts that you think are courts, they're all the water jurisdiction. These are all maritime. So the courts that you think are courts, yeah, because you've been led to believe this is a court, but you know what a court is. You know what a court is. So they're calling their ships, because these are all foreign vessels in dry dock. So they're calling their ships courts. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not courts. They're ships. They're foreign vessels in dry dock. Because that's what it tells you here what a court is. Right? Just so that you can, hopefully you get this picture. Let me just let me see if anybody's here. Smooth level plot of ground on which you bought plate. Exactly, Andrew. Exactly, mate. Hey up, Jock. God bless, mate. Afternoon, Karen. Afternoon, Frank. All right then. So you've got this so far. I'm just going to go into a little bit more, because we're going to go into what Google calls a court. Yeah. So we've done the etymology on a court. Yeah. So now we're going to have what Google says: a body of people, not persons, right? Because only people can be sovereign, because people are equal to men and women. Yeah. That's the living flesh and blood breathing, living, breathing souls, yeah, with inside their vessel, their land mass, vessel, whatever you want to call it, yeah, skin suit. I'm a living, breathing, this is a living, breathing skin suit that my soul being, without my soul being within inside this living vessel, yeah, this living vessel would not be breathing. It would not be having a heartbeat. Yeah, I would be. This would go back to the ground. You know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It would be back to the ground. But that doesn't mean my living spirit is going to ever die. You know, absolutely not. You know, so a body of people presided over by a judge, right? Judges or magistrate, and acting. There's your word, guys. There it is again, mate. Acting. Round one. Okay, action. Let's go. Mr. David Ward, yeah. This is where they're coming. This is the acting now. And they're acting because they're not speaking to the man, because it's all a staged event. Yeah. They're not speaking. Remember, because the Bar Association will never hear or try a fact in a court. Well, for a start off, it's not a fucking court, it's a ship. And the reason why they can't hear a living fact, because it's to do with the sovereign. That's because it's nothing to do with the court. Because it's not a court, it's a ship, it's a fleecing venue. It's an area where they are fleecing sovereign men and women that are minors that haven't matured to understand the difference between the living sovereign being and their fiction, their legal embodiment, their corporation. They're all caps guy, yeah? So they never took any man or woman into this court because they're not courts. They're ships, they're foreign vessels in dry dock. So they summons the dead, they summons the legal fiction, and the men and women go in willfully, because remember, this is all roads leading back to Rome, yeah? So this is very plain and simple, yeah? Those that choose to be deceived can be deceived. Now, you can say, no, that's crazy. They're calling me. No. If you're going to accept the name, see, when they came for me, they kept calling me Divine Andrew, right? And they even put, like saying that on your driving license. And if you look on your driving license, yeah, it's got number 1. Mine will have number 1, Divine, in all capitals. Number 2, Andrew. But remember, the driving license is my legal fiction's identity because it was made to my birth certificate, which they created. So that isn't me. That is my birth certificate's identification. My passport is made to my birth certificate identification, not to me, the living sovereign being. That's a different thing. But the courts, they can't call the living sovereign being because they cannot hear. They cannot hear the man. They cannot hear the living man. They can only hear the fiction because they're not a court. Because we know what a court is, don't we? We've seen what a court is, yeah? It doesn't say it's in a ship, yeah? It doesn't say that, does it? They might call it, what's I mean, is there, I mean, I don't know. I've not actually looked into that yet, but I mean, you know, let's have a look at that. We'll have a look at that in a second anyway. So anyway, but by the by, I mean, it's here. It's plain and simple. Google's telling you. So it's a body of people presided over by a judge. I mean, there's a wrong in itself, isn't it? Because it's saying it's a body of people being presided over, yeah, by a judge. I mean, who gave this judge the authority? Where did the judge get his authority? Where, you know, what, can I just dress up in a police uniform or a judge's uniform and just say I'm a judge? Can I just print off this document and say, here, I've got the qualifications here. Can I just get a stamp out and make it myself? Why can't I? They can. What's stopping it? It's a rule 1 level playing field, guys. Yeah. The only thing is with it's about the level of intelligence, the level of knowledge and knowing what it is, you know. So judges or magistrate, and we know what magistrate means. Magic, yeah, magic. It's all magic, word spells. Yeah, this is sorcery 101. This is the dark side, because they're all satanic, as you know, and you know what satanic means, yeah? I'm not talking about some little twat with horns in his head and a fork with a little thigh and he's glowing red. I'm talking about satanic, deceiving, dirty people, yeah, that are doing whatever they can to do what they want to you, yeah? Liars and cheats, yeah? Right then, and acting, you've got to get that in, guys. You've got to understand it's acting. The world's a stage, acting as a tribunal in a civil and criminal cases, or it's a quadrangular area, either open or covered, marked out for ball games such as tennis or squash, as a squash court. There you go. Yeah. All right, and verb, involved with someone romantically. Oh, here we go. So here we go. What's happened? They're courting you. They're courting you. But they're not courting you, sir. They're not courting you. They're courting your legal fiction, because these people are dead. They've got no soul. They're soulless people. People that can do this to another man or woman through deception to fleece them are soulless in my eyes, from what I'm seeing. So these dead entities are courting your dead entity, your legal fiction. They're wooing you to come into court, woo, calling you in, because they want to, well, you know, they want to seriously give you some They want to screw you right, left and center, yeah? They want to proper court you, yeah? By special attention, pay special attention to someone in an attempt to win their support or favor. This is what to court is, yeah? To win or fleece them, win their support their favor, yeah? So that they can proper give you a good shafting. So on here it says acting as a tribunal. So let's see what tribunal is. So tribunal, a body established to settle certain types of disputes. So a tribunal, a court of justice, an international war crimes tribunal. So there's me. There's me. I'm just flicking through those. Just wanted to see. Uppercase, yeah. So I mean, just as an interesting point here. So on the grounds, actually, I was going to look up to see if what's court on a ship. Court on a ship. Admiralty. Yeah. Admiralty. Yeah. Bullshit. So there's my little breakdown. Hopefully this will make people start to see a little more. I had my flag and pole ripped down and car smashed up with it. By who, Frank? By who? I mean, we saw Margaret get ripped out of her house. You know, who are these people? Who are these people, and who's protecting them? You know, who's protecting them? It's absolute disgrace what's going down, and it's going down because of the deceptions of what they've done to us all. Yeah, I mean, don't forget. I mean, the Baron here, they still took his house up and all this lot. What we're saying here is, with everything that's been done here, it's not until that, because the thing is, right? Yeah, it's the same with all the wars. You know, what Afghanistan, you know, Iraq, you know, all the wars, full stop, really, because they're all bankers' wars. Ultimately, yeah, none of those wars could have happened if the people hadn't have gone over and done these crimes, because they was given the orders. And if people didn't take those orders, and if they had done their due diligence to make sure that what they're being told to do was correct and righteous to do, you know, you get people that stand down that, you know, pass it. What's the word I'm looking for? Conscientious objectors. You know, they don't want any of this. Conscientious objector means that they're conscious of something that's wrong and therefore objecting on it. You know, why would I want to go to another country and start killing the people within inside that country because my government, who's been instructed and given a script by the bankers that wants to make shitloads of money out of this next war, when they go over there and steal all their commodities, their minerals, their oil, their gold, and so on and so forth, yeah? You know, this is what it is. So ultimately, yeah, and this is why I keep saying it, if you want to know what the problem is, guys, go and look in the mirror, right? Because plain and simple is, none of those wars could have been created if it wasn't for us. And people go like, oh, the Second World, First and Second World War. You know, look at what those evil bastards were doing. Look at the reality of those First, Second War. I mean, the end of that people think that the end of the Second World War, you know, that they lost. That was where there was a unity of the corporations. You know, they've turned your countries into corporations. This is all the dead. This is the dead working on them. So they turned all your countries into corporations so that they can bankrupt them and own them. They turned all the people into corporations by creation of a birth certificate so that when they go bankrupt, they can own them. They think they own your arse because of what they've done through their deception. They think they own your country, yeah, because they fucking turned it into a corporation. Somebody was saying, yeah, United Kingdom. I don't know if you saw that thing that some plonker had done on, in fact, you see, I'll read it now. I'd put a piece on there, like, you know, this required the full public closure with the clear transparency, which is a requirement that isn't being adhered to. You know, they're not going to give you something that they can't give you. Everybody, you know, people that are going to these alleged buildings that are calling themselves a court, and that they say that that building, that court, has issued you the proceedings. When you actually go to request the proof that there has been an information lay at the court for the court to have issued those proceedings, you're going to find that no, they didn't. No, they didn't. And the ship itself has been hired out to the council, or it's been hijacked by the CPS, which is not the court. This is the Bar Association covering up for their fellow brethren or fellow criminals, fellow pirates, fellow paedophile satanic bastards that are doing what they're doing to us. And these, for their shekels, are pulling people in that are causing a problem, like John Patterson was. They are pulling them into these ships, yeah, that are not courts, and they're operating it as a court to create the illusion. And because they're all in on it, they are tricking and trapping the people. And then because of their prostitute police forces who go on and enforce what these liars give out in these pieces of paper, which are not authentic, are not valid, and are completely counterfeit, yeah, they go ahead and do this, and they serve it and continue and then put John in, do what they did to, not just John, they do it to everybody, yeah, taking people's children off them and so on and so forth. This is what they do. It's the police that go around it. It's not the social services, because the social services ain't going to do it on their own. It's the police. It's not these alleged bailiffs, yeah, because it's the police that come round and enforce it. It's the police that come round with them and enforce their lie on you as the truth when they won't once check to see if that ship, that court, had actually had an information lay that would possibly generate, or a filing fee paid that would possibly generate any warrant, any court order, or any proceedings. Nothing, I repeat, nothing came from a court. Nothing came from a court in their definition, even if they was to be acting correctly. Now, they are acting in both fucking situations. They are either acting with the authority of the court, or they are acting without the authority of the court. Either way, they're acting, yeah? But one of them has got the procedures been done correctly, which was agreed to, obviously, by the way the things was created, to say that this is a fair and honest way of doing things. However, they're not doing it the fair and honest way, because all of this goes through the public purse. All the filing fees and everything's all going through, and there's a record of everything. However, this way they do it in the private. There is no receipts given out, and all the money that's taken off you is going in their back arse end pockets to pay these other prostitutes to do what they're doing to the people out there. That's why they're doing what they're doing. So I said all this, yeah. I says blah blah blah. So deception. It would be more correct to say, so requirement that isn't being adhered to. It would be more correct to say deception and concealment, which is an obvious what they're doing. It's deceiving people, and they're concealing the fact that they're deceiving you because they don't have anything to give you to validate what they're saying is. So they're saying that you've had the proceedings, but they don't have an information lay to have been able to issued you those proceedings. So they're concealing the fact that there was never an information lay, because if they said that, that would mean that the court's been hijacked and somebody is operating a fraudulent court case in the private, which would mean, because if you expose that, you're going to expose all the other ones. Because I'm telling you, I mean, Anthony did say that there are some that has been done legitimately and with the correct procedures. And there are actual case management printouts that you will see that the whole thing has been done. 99 times out of 100, those will be when it's a man doing it against a man, not a man doing it against a corporation. Yeah, because they just won't accept it. They won't hear it. Yeah, you can't get them done because they're gatekeepers. They're 101 gatekeepers. But they'll let you battle it out between, a common man against a common man, but they won't let you do it with any of theirs because they're in one big clique. So the council, you try and take the council, the CPS, the police, or any of their other fucking prostitutes that are working with them, not a chance, mate, because they're protected. They protect each other. You might have a copper that's not in one of the cliques. They don't get protected. So you will get some police that do, but they're just thrown under the bus. So it looks like they're doing their job. Yeah. So he who makes a claim carries the burden of proof, period. Yeah. Maxim. It is only a matter of time before the people rise up, which is what I do, just so that you can see what I'm seeing, because I'm not fucking special. If I can see what's being done, you can see what's being done. And there's been some beautiful people explaining this, and I hope I'm coming across, in layman's. I'm just telling you as it is, simple layman's terms. Yeah, you know the difference between what is real and what is not. If I said I've punched you in the face, that's not real. If I punch you in the face, you're going to feel it. If I say I've got a £20 note, and I say, it's real, you're going to know the difference between whether it's real or not, If I say something's hot, until you touch it, when you touch it, you're going to find out whether what I was saying was true or not, because you're going to get burnt, or you're going to find out that it was cold and I was lying, So so the people rise up as live men, live men, now live men, living men. Living men are of the land and on the land. Yeah, they're not the person, which is the legal embodiment, the dead entity, which was created to your placenta. Dead entities don't have a voice, yeah? Only a living man has a voice. That's quite obvious, really. How many dead people do you know speak? How many dead people have you heard speaking? So that you can hear it in the material world. I'm not talking about people doing like shamanic fucking, whatever. I'm talking about in the real world where it'll have sound waves and it'll come through, and those sound waves will come out of the mouth and your eardrum will hear it. I'm not talking about telepathy through a dead man speaking from a different position, okay? Before people get clever, because people just try and keep getting clever. I don't know what you're doing, because you do yourself out of it all the time, right? Right? So, comment before the living man of the land to command the public. See, this is the thing, we make commands. Any of this government, any of these, they're there because we pay them wages, and people have been paying for their own demise all this time. People have been paying their taxes and all this lot. For what? For what? Look what you're getting. You're paying your taxes. And by the way, tax is illegal. Yeah, it's unlawful. Right? So servants and command correct performance under the penalty of perjury in their private individual capacity. Now, they've got rules and regulations that as a public servant, they must adhere to. But they're not going to adhere to it if you let them get away with it. So we have to hold them, accountable. We have to hold them and give them the command to do it, or grab hold of them. I mean, you've seen what a court is. It tells you there, sovereign. How many sovereigns are there? How many sovereigns are there? We can have our own courts, guys. John Winnow has proven that, And if these public servants fail in their duties, they must pay the penalty, as no man is above the law, right? Yeah. So now I've got a guy here, this Tyrannus, and he says, Mr. Divine, which is a fucking insult. The stupid prick's trying to call me a dead man, right? So this scumbag, for a starter, so I've got no respect for this guy whatsoever, because he's trying to insult me straight away. Why do you constantly wish to change our laws in the UK? Yet you do not live here. You have made Greece your home. Do you try to change the law in Greece also? So I've said to this Tyrannus, which is a nothingness, it's a month-old profile, so we know who it is. It's the classical stupid, GCHQ, multi-thousand frigging different profiles, just like the Hoaxstead lot and all the rest of them scum. So I just said, provide myself your full name and address for service, and provide me the material evidence of your claim that I wish to change something that does not exist inside a corporation, because law doesn't exist in a corporation. That's legal. Law is they mixed it. They dirtied the waters. They dirtied the waters with the mud, which is the land law, which is cause no harm, loss, or injury, no victim, no crime. They try to mingle it in with these rules and regulations. Rules and regulations, as we should all know, requires your consent. And that means you've got to have given your autograph, to a consent agreement, or a consent to be governed, or a contract with that corporation for that corporation's rules or regulations, acts or statutes to apply to you, because you've now given it the consent for them to apply to you. If you haven't given that wetting signature, it don't apply to you. So it's not law. This is law. So he's saying laws. No, that's legal. Legal was the undoing of God's law. God's law is the living man. Legal is the dead entity. It's the corporations. Okay? Don't mix the two, guy. So I wish that doesn't exist inside a corporation, because as far as I am aware, there are no laws, only rules and regulations inside a corporation. And the UK is a corporation. for a fact. You can see it on Dun and Bradstreet. Also, provide myself your finite mean of what law is, and what legal is, and what it applies to, so I can see your level of competency, so I don't have to waste my time answering a nice person, a stupid, ignorant, dead entity, or, which is, I just said nice person, or a fake profile coward. So, this is what you're up against. God protects me, has done from day one. God bless us all. Indeed. God is inside all of you, mate. It's the spirit within inside you, yeah? Your own divine being, your own soul being, yeah? That's a part of the all, yeah? So, that's who you need. Actor is act, or so act whore. Yeah. Indeed, Lord. So, anyway, I just thought I'd just run that one. Any questions? Me in a nutshell. Add me live, buddy. If you can send me a request, send me a request. Oh, I can. 1 second. Let's bring you on, buddy. Let me bring you on. Let me. Okay. Have you got Zoom, Jock? Have you got Zoom? Because I'm on Zoom now. Same people funded both sides of the war. Court means court. Yeah, indeed. So, yeah, Jock, if you got your if you've got Zoom, I can send you the link. So anyway, got 15 on watching. I'm just check out Alfonso Galileo on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I like people that keep it simple. I mean, there's many things that many of their deceptions that they're doing to you. I mean, I'd pick one. You can pick on one that you know that they can't get past, and stand your ground. You can either do the language. You can do the language part of it, because they're deceiving you through the language. They're deceiving you through the allegation. They're making the allegation that it's a lawful court. So you can stay on the point to make them provide the material evidence to substantiate the court. There's lots of different ways. The jurisdiction, they've got to claim, for them to claim jurisdiction over you, they have to prove that they've got jurisdiction. How are they going to prove you've got jurisdiction over you when they're only trying to trick you and deceive you into having jurisdiction over your legal entity? Yeah, you're standing there as a man. They have to prove you've got a jurisdiction over a man. They ain't going to do that, are they? If you check, I think most of them were Freemasons. What started the war for the bankers? Look at Churchill. What's in them position? So the thing is, I mean, the world's a stage. The world's a stage. Anybody in the ones that are directing it, you're not seeing them. The ones that's been directing the stage, you're not seeing them. I mean, it's there. That they're there. Follow the money. Follow the money. You'll see the ones that've been directing it. Yeah, it is simple. He explains the deception perfectly. Yeah. Put a link in, Nita. Put a link in for us, mate. I love people explaining things simple, because that's all I try to do. I try to break it down, because as I'm learning, just so that when that's what it's all here. We're all here learning. We're all here, not so much learning really. We're seeing things for what it really is. That's what we're trying to see things for what they really are, with realize what the real lies were, so that we can never be tricked and trapped by those lies. So that's what we're here to do. And by doing it live, I try to share this so that other people can see it. Because a lot of people think, no, this is all crazy. No, it's all. Listen, if you don't realize what is, If you don't know, don't think, or stay thinking until you do. Don't just accept, because if you accept it, then you've agreed to it. You consented to it by acquiescence. Because that's how they're tricking you. I take it Jock's gone, yeah? Because you've not answered me about you having the Zoom. Her Majesty's Government, Duns, there you go. Her Majesty's Government, Duns and Bradstreet number 0001452617. So anyway, I just thought I'd just quickly go on there just to explain about the courts, because the court itself is another deception. The word court, you need to understand what a court is, because people keep saying I've got to go to court on Monday. Do you know what a court is? You've got to go to court. Why have you got to go? Oh, I've been. I've been. They've said I've been. You said you've been. You've been summoned to court. Yeah. You, the man. What's your name? What's your name? Well, it's this. Yeah. That what's name? What's the name on the summons? Oh, well, it's this. Well, you haven't been summoned to court, then, have you? Because that's not your name, is it? So, but because we see it, and we just think we're not giving it the time to forensically analyze something, and we have to forensically analyze the words, what the meanings of the words, to get the finite meaning of the words, so that we can understand exactly what it is. So because if we answer to anything, like I say, if they trick you into saying yes to something that you didn't understand, they're not going to be bothered about whether, I think you might have made a mistake. That the whole intents and purposes was to get you to agree to something, which is why they say, do you understand? They read a charge out to you. They read a charge out to you so that you understand what you're being charged about, what they're claiming. You understand what they've made a claim of. You perceive that because you've read it. So they'll read it out to you and say, do you understand it? And for the people that all know, they fully well understand that, what we was taught in school under the Oxford Dictionary, understood means, do you perceive it? Are you getting what is being said to you? Do you comprehend it? Yeah. So that's what we would have thought. But, those people that are not aware that in those buildings, they operate under a different dictionary where understand means that you stand under the charge. So because they've read the charge out, asked you if you understood it, now you've accepted it. So you acquiesce to it, but that isn't, is it? But remember, you've got to go on the grounds, is what they're working off, is let those that are deceived be deceived. If you choose to be deceived, that's your choice. Yeah, but they scare me and they threaten me and they're gonna stick me in prison. Listen, they've already got you and they're already shafting you. They're already raping you. What? Yeah, but I don't want to. Well, if you're not going to stand up for yourself, then suffer. You're going to suffer, and understand what suffer means. Yeah, understand what suffer means. You're going to suffer. So let me just show you, because just in case people haven't seen what suffer means. You're going to suffer. You're going to suffer if you don't stand up for yourself. And suffer means allow to occur or continue, permit, tolerate, fail to prevent or suppress. Also, be made undergo, endure, be subjected to pain, death, punishment, judgment, grief. From Anglo-French, souffrir, Old French, souffrir, bear, endure, resist, permit, tolerate, allow. So, you make your own minds up, guys. That's what suffer means. And that's in your language. That's out of the Oxford Dictionary. Just go and look at the etymology of the word suffer, and you'll understand that you've been very nice. And you should know what nice means. It means stupid and ignorant. And we've all been stupid and ignorant. But if we don't admit the fact that we've been stupid and ignorant, we will stay stupid and ignorant. We will stay fooled. If you don't admit that you've been fooled, you will stay fooled. And by choice, by free will, you have that. You have that choice because you've been given the free will to make that choice. Yeah. You've also got the free will to stand up and express your rights as a sovereign man and woman. But that's down to your choice. Seeing through the word. Is this the, what's it? I'll copy that. I'm going to have a look at this now. In fact, I can't put it on still. Yeah, that should be all right, shouldn't it? Let's have a look, Ski. Let's have a look, Ski, what this is. Oh, 2 hours, 30 minutes. Oh, I like it, yeah.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the King Heroes Journey podcast, where I have the huge pleasure of interviewing Mr. Alphonse Fagiolo. How did I get your last name, by the way?
Wow, that's really good. I mean, I suffered through 12 years of school. The first day of school, I had to interrupt every teacher, you know.
Fagiolo. How did I get your last name, by the way?
Yeah. So anyway, there's the links in the what's it? It's 2 hours, but I'm probably going to have a look at that. Because I quite like her. She's got some good people, like she is. So anyway, guys, on that note, hopefully, again, you know, because the thing is, guys, it's like this, right? The longer we leave it, yeah, to stand up and unite as one with the knowledge of what's been done to us so that we can see it plainly, we won't be standing there with enough conviction to make these policemen and women that have been hired, because their level of knowledge obviously wasn't very high. That's why they got the job. So take that as an insult if you want, police. I'm not really interested. I'm not bothered whether you take it as an insult. What I'm saying is you are not intelligent enough to understand that what you're doing is wrong. But I'm giving you a warning. Yeah, I'm giving you this warning because, you know, the doctors and the military, you know, in the Second World War, yeah, that faced the Nuremberg trials that said that there was only following orders, they would have been in the same position that you policemen are right now. And it will come. There's no two ways about it. Justice will definitely always come out. You know, the truth always comes out. And regardless to whether or not, you know, you're brought in, forget about that scenario. Let's put the penance, just put what inside yourself. When you become conscious of what it is you're doing, you will know. You know, people say God will be my judge. You will be your judge. And I speak from experience. When I took that one step inwards and became conscious, I realized the things that I'd been doing. And you policemen and women out there that are doing what you're doing, you will become conscious of what it is that you've been doing, and that you've been completely and utterly, just like the militaries that have the armies and, you know, and so on and so forth, that have gone over and fought in unlawful, unjust and criminal wars, that have come back to realize that they've done these things to people that was just standing up to protect their own lands, that was being stolen because these militaries were told that these people were doing X, Y, Z, when none of that evidence was ever proven, because they was lied to by their governments, because the bankers or the head honchos, yeah, was informing them to do what they've got to do because they wanted to go and steal, rob and pillage. But they couldn't do it. They're not going to go rob and pillage it. No, what they're going to do is make their government use the militaries to go and steal it for them. But those people that actually go over there, that was the military men and women that went over there and did it. And they didn't have to. Remember, they was just following orders. And order followers do not have morals, okay? You cannot have morals and be an order follower, yeah? Because it's not following an order if it's inside your heart. You're doing what's right to do. So it's what we should all be doing, yeah? So anyway, on that note, I shall love yous, leave yous, and I hopefully, you know, the way this has come across, can you say, oh yeah, Jock's here now? 1 second. We've got a link. We'll have a bit of Jock. Invite. Come on. Have a bit of Jock on. Bit of Jock on. Let's I have to put it in the WhatsApp, put it in the where am I? No, I want that one. 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 What was that one? Yeah, that one there. There we go. Paste. There you go. There you go, Jock. Just put it in the message. Just put it in the messenger. You may join me now. Zoom. If you join me, mate, we're in. See the 7 principles, yeah? 7 principles of life. Make peace with your past so it won't disturb your future. What other people think of you is none of your business. The only person in charge of your happiness is you. Persons, I wouldn't. This is what I mean. They use person so that you can say man or woman, because this is the thing in it. You know, because people don't. You say men and that the women go, you all got to be with men. No, men and women are the same. One's got a womb. That's the difference. So we're all men. Yeah. Don't compare your life to others. Don't compare your life to others. Don't compare your life to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. Time heals almost everything. Give it time. Stop thinking so much. That's a question like where they say you can't think too much. You can't thinking so much. If you stay on point and you think about one thing, you can't think too much about one thing. But when you think about something and you go off point, that I say stay on point. If you're thinking, stay on point, yeah, and smile. What's that say? You don't own all the problems in the world. You know, I say, trying to download Zoom. I say about keep smiling, and some people say like, you're taking the piss. You're taking the piss when you say keep smiling. No, I'm saying keep smiling because I know how hard it's been for me to accept the wrongs that I've done unknowingly, thinking that I was doing the right thing because I was doing what everybody else was doing, you know? And it's not until you realize something for the truth of what it really is that then you have to accept, and it's very difficult to accept that you've been doing something wrong, you know? And those things that you did could hurt other people when you was really trying to help other people, and you was trying to be loving and everything else, but actually you was being the absolute opposite because you was just, an indoctrinated, programmed numbnut that didn't realize he was an indoctrinated numbnut because you were stupid and you'd been stupefied, you'd been fooled. But we don't have to stay fooled, guys. That's by choice. That's purely by choice. Come on then, Jock, let's have you. He's just downloading Zoom. I might have to shoot actually. Oh shit, let me just check me. Let's just make sure I haven't got any. Please don't be a message there, so I've missed it. Nope, there's not. Where are you? Where are you? Oh. Anyone else wants to come on, you can come on while we're waiting for Jock. The court commentaries are brilliant because of you've of you've never faced court or have been to court and been railroaded, his commentary points out all the tricks and traps and how to conduct yourself. Yeah, I'll have a listen. I mean, because that's another thing about America. You do actually get to hear the court. Yeah, you actually hear them in court. I heard that the one of was it Christopher James? I saw Christopher James and it was brilliant. You know, he's brilliant. Like, I mean, one thing that I would have picked up on when Christopher James was saying, you know, about him being, his name was Christopher James, not Christopher James, whatever it was, the surname. And the judge, he allowed the judge to say that Mr. Christopher James, such and such, AKA Christopher James. So they're saying that this entity is known as this and this. That's a no-no, because I am not known as Divine Andrew. I am not known as the all caps Andrew Divine, yeah, because that's a dead entity. I'm known as Andrew, period. People want to call me the Divine Scenario. It's just probably because it's on Facebook, because that's what I had to put up there. But my name's Andrew, you know, and if it's going to be anything, as it states there, like, you know, I'm Andrew of the House of Divine. So Divine is the clan name. It's not my name. It isn't my name. I'm Andrew. The Divine Scenario side of it is not really that that side of it. 2 are COVID times, a telephone hearing and a Zoom hearing. Also, he has a Northern Ireland man in court setting, in court setting. Is that in that one video, Nita? Is that in that one video that you put on? Well, we'll just wait for Jock. It should be early enough, actually, Jock. You shouldn't. You're probably just finishing work. I used to have Jock on before, but it was late at night, and by that time he'd had a few tinnies, like, and he was a bit. He's a rough diamond. He's a rough diamond, is our Jock. He's a rough diamond. A lot of people love him for what it is. Actually, I was surprised. That's because my missus, like, I mean, she's normally like, oh, I'm talking a lot, but she actually, you know, she overheard him and she was saying, I like him. So you got the thumbs up from the missus, by the way, Jock. What's your link name? You should just be able to come in, just press it and come in. Let me send you that. I'll send you the full. Where is it? Invite, copy link invitation. So I'll go back to that. Yeah, then, Jock. There you go. Just make sure that's what you're looking for. Link name. Zoom. Meeting ID, passcode. And that's all you should need. That's what you should need anyway. Ask again. I just installed it. Just click on that there, and Jock, and you should come in. Come on, there's people waiting, mate. You're holding up, man. Just as an update on the, I still haven't heard nothing as yet on Margaret. I know that she's okay. She's got somewhere to stay at the moment. They have boarded all the, well, put the cages, they take the windows out, put them clamps in, so that, you know, they've done all the they've locked all her possessions inside the building too. and I believe she's got a computer, or she's lent a computer, so we may do an update pretty soon. But yeah, this is who's going to break it? I mean, because the thing is, like I say, it's all these gatekeepers, yeah, that are stopping this evidence that all these courts are operating in fraud. Because once it breaks, that dam will just flood, and then all the people that have had all these crimes done against them will number one have to be get their repatriated with their children, and all this stuff is going to have to come back. They're going to have to, it's massive. They're so scared of it. They're so scared of we the people, but we the people are not people yet. They're not enough. We're not enough. The flood. They have got the control because they're using we the people. These policemen and women, they are people. Ultimately, they are people, but they're not of the level of awareness until they start either putting these in prison. They think they're safe. They think they're protected. They think they're completely immune. They think they can do whatever they want. It's just like you saw those policemen down there. They think they can just drag that woman out of her house, yeah, her own castle, and nothing's going to get done to them, So it's really it's crazy. It's sickening. It's proper sickening, yeah. What's actually going on? What's being allowed? And if there's any policemen, right, yeah, that want to do the honourable thing. If you want to do an honourable thing, my email address is divinebar, DEVINEBAR @hotmail.com, or you can make a phone call anonymously and just give me the information, yeah, or where to get the information from, to the whereabouts of P0857 Mangano, MANGANO, and P0916 Dibner, DIEBNER, and the other one with no surname, which was P1670. These are policemen, yeah. For you decent policemen and women out there, yeah. These police, yeah, are putting your lives in jeopardy, because sooner or later, yeah, these police are gonna push somebody to the extreme, and they're gonna probably want to go out there and take their vengeance. And innocent police officers may well get caught up in that vengeance, and that's not right, yeah. But these police are pushing the people to their extremes, as you saw there, yeah. The incident number. This is Northants Police. Yeah, the incident number is 0141 20/08/21. That's the incident number. So you police that are working in there, I know your hands are tied. As I said to the police when I was over there last time, you're going to get it worse than me. But you can leak this information. Let's not leave these free policemen. Let's not leave them. We want them in their private individual capacities, because I don't care what they was wearing. They was wearing a fucking suit. They could have got that from bloody some counter, some costume shop. Okay, we mustn't allow these people. Your police, yeah, you went in there to serve and protect the people. These police went in there and did not serve and protect. In fact, they did the absolute opposite what you all signed up for, Mr. Policeman. So come on, help the people. Do your duty, what you swore on oath to do. Help them. So if you can get me that information, yeah, I want them in their private capacity so that we can go after them in their private capacity. The man or woman, these ones that was laughing and smiling of a woman having her house stolen from her while they raped her and pillaged her by a belligerent act of terrorism, when even the alleged people that claimed that they was bailiffs all failed to identify themselves. And it's all on the video, guys. Don't take my word for it. I'm telling you the 100% truth, and I can back it up and verify it. So what I'm saying is, we need any decent policemen and women out there that are that you can get access to this information. The policeman that was asked by Margaret refused to give the information. Why are you allowed to protect these people? You should not be allowed to protect these people. And if you've got any moral compass in you, what is it? If you don't say nothing, I won't say nothing. Are you all there going to protect each other? You know? So if you want to do it, yeah, my phone number's 07495 408 409, sorry. So I'll do that again. 07495 409 168. Right, and my email is divinebar, DEVINEBAR@hotmail.com. And you can send that anonymously, but there's got to be enough evidence in there that can verify it. So I want to find these people. I want to track these people. Or if there's any private detectives out there that can just tap in, you people, you know it. If you can find it, or any hackers, we need them. We need to go to them. We need to go to them. The police are hiding them. Police are protecting them. The police are protecting criminals. And we have the facts, verified, 100% facts that they were all criminals because they all acted in fraud. Yeah. You've got a meeting ID, should be numbers. It's on there, Jock, look. It's on there, look. Meeting ID, 871-2246-5760, passcode 539819. It's on there. Just click on that and it should come straight in. All there, but join won't work. So on that note, I mean, and I'll put the video in. Thinking about it, I shall put the video in. Rodney, I shall put that video in. I shall put that video in. That's
Live now, probably.
this one here.
So
Got it.
There's the evidence. If you don't believe what I'm saying, this is the evidence. Caught red-handed. You saw the police, what they did. Absolute disgrace. What they did. Oh, we're on my Facebook here. So, any police hackers or where's the video there? I just put it in the link. Yeah, where you witnessed the police go in and steal the house off somebody using counterfeit and fraudulent documents. Yeah, never even showed a warrant because there wasn't no warrant. There was never any proceedings. There was never any proceedings to any of this come from a court because there was never an information lay. This is all the courts, the pyramid of terror, as we keep saying. And there is a criminal organisation within inside there that are counterfeiting their authority. It's the perks of the jobs, guys. I mean, when people used to have the perks of the jobs, like, if you was working in a timber yard, yeah, the perks of the jobs, you'd be able to get the offcuts of the woods, or you used to get wood cheap and stuff like that. Yeah, and you used to be able to use the saw to cut your own wood up, in the building. Well, they're doing exactly the same thing, guys. They're using the courts, yeah, as a court, but it's not a court. Doesn't have any authority of the court, but they're using the building to fleece people, to steal people's houses, because they're all being controlled by, quite possibly, is Capita, and whoever's controlling Capita. Capita's have sent in their little infiltrators, and they're working with inside all of the organisations, with inside the council, with inside the courts, and with inside the police service. And their agents they've infiltrated. This is mafia. This is whatever you want to call it. This is criminal organisation that is using the public services to infiltrate and steal and harvest, people, steal their children, steal everything. Yeah, Serco is a major player. Serco and Capita are pretty much similar, the same. Yeah, exactly, mate. And this is exactly what it is. And they've got their offices in there. They've infiltrated you. Policemen and women out there, listen to me, please. I've been trying to help you out, whether you know it or not, whether you care to like it or not. I don't really bother what you think. I have. I've been trying to help you, police. I mean, years ago, I was exposing to the fact of what the money laundering that had been going through 788, 790 Finchley Road, and the purse You know, the private coffers that's been spunked out and laundered through these conduits into offshore accounts was all your police pension funds. So, you know, I've been trying to, you know, you should be very rich, you know, you're going to be in there doing a proud job, you know, and we take our hats off for you police that are out there doing the proper job. You know, it'd just be nice to see a few more of you, because in fact, it'd be nice to see one or two of you actually, you know, but we will be, you know, we're going to have to see all of you be doing it, because ultimately you are public servants and that's what you're in there to do, but you're not. You're policy enforcers, and that is not, that is against the law. That's legal. And legal does not apply to any man or woman. Yeah. Legal does not apply because they haven't, your acts and statutes do not apply to them because they've never consented and you've got no proof to suggest otherwise. You would have to prove that they've given the consent to be able to enforce the act or statute upon them, but you're not. You're just doing as you're told. But mark my words, you're going to repay for what you're doing. It's going to come back on you. Anybody who's doing wrong, it's going to come back on you with your conscience alone. You know, try to add me one more time, or it's not meant to be. I can't add you on Facebook, Jock, because you're not coming up. It doesn't come like that. I'm on, that's it. I can't like add you. Try to see if you can send a link where I can add you. It doesn't, it's not, I don't get that opportunity, Jock. There's no little cameras next to the people like it used to be. I haven't seen that for a long time, mate. That's why the only way I can bring people in onto Facebook is through Zoom. Remember, I'm complete, if you know, you should know that I'm completely shadow banned. Yeah. I can't add you on Zoom. I've sent you the link, Zoom. I've sent you the link to the Zoom. If I tell you what, Jock, message me your email. Message me the email that you've opened up Zoom, not on here. Don't do it on here because people don't want your email. Private message me your email and I can send you a contact request. And then you can open the contract request and then I can add you to it. But I can't add you if you're not a contact. We have to be a contact. That's the only way I can do that. Anyway, to be truthful, mate, I think we've burnt out anyway. Really, we'll do it another time, John, because it's nearly 4 o'clock now, and I'm going to have to get down because I'm going to go and pick my better half up. You know, my better half, the placid, the lovable. She just loves everything. You know, I'm a bit too harsh at times, apparently. Not meaning to be. So all right then, John. So yeah, we'll do it another time. Private message me your email address that you've opened up your Zoom with, that you've joined Zoom with, yeah, or you know, downloaded it, because you have to open up your Zoom with your email address and create a password, don't you? Then you can go into Zoom and then you can use it. You can use it as a phone. It's good. So do that, yeah. Send me your email address or send me a contact request, but you probably won't know how to do it. I know how to do it. So if you send me your email address, I'll send you a contact request, and then we can for another time, like, yeah, just like I did with Karen, like, yeah. So anyway, hope some good had come of it. It's a good shot. I mean, it would be good. I mean, because this is what it really is. I mean, these people, it's layman's terms, isn't it, guys? We've got to keep it simple. We've got to keep it simple because I would have needed it simple. I needed it simple. I still do need it simple. I still need it explaining to me like I'm a 2-year-old. You know, I'm not going to be bothered. Please do explain to me. If you've got something, please do, but keep it simple. And I'm stupid. You know, I'm stupid. I don't know nothing. You know, but I can see what's obvious once it's been pointed out to me in a plain. You know, it's been able to see it. You know, it's been able to picture it. So if you can word it in a way that I can picture, and I hope I word things in ways that you can picture it, so that you can see it, because that's the more that see it, the more that stand together, and we raise. I mean, the morphic resonance. I mean, I don't know if you ever know it. I don't know about Rupert Sheldrake. I'll end it on this. Rupert Sheldrake, he used to do experiments on day-old chicks, on rats, and all this lot. And dogs when they was away from home, and when their owners were away from home, and their owners were saying they was going home now, and the dogs used to start getting excited. And what that like telepathy or whatever you want to call that was like, he classed it as morphic resonance. So what like on rats, they used to do on rats, they used to poison rats, and the poison used to kill them straight away. So the rats, other rats, yeah, that have never seen the poison, just stopped eating it. So how they kill rats now is they have to give it a poison, yeah, that it doesn't kill it straight away, so that the rat doesn't know what it ate killed it, because otherwise the other rats somehow would know not to eat it. Work that one out, guys. Then they did experiments on day-old chicks, and fresh chicks every day, day old. Bring these chicks into an encased area where there was a silver and a yellow tab. If you peck one of them, yep, it gave you a mild electric shock. If you peck the, I think it was the yellow one, it gave you a mild electric shock. No, the silver one gave you a mild electric shock. If you pick whatever it was, yeah, one or the other. Don't hold me on it. Yeah, I think it was one was yellow, one was silver. One would give you an electric shock if you pecked at it. The other one would drop some corn out so you could eat, right? And he used to do this on day-old chicks. So the first day, obviously, it's probably around about 50-50. The second day, that batch is now gone. Then they're no longer in the test. A brand new set of day-old chicks enter this encased area, and the numbers started dwindling down. So virtually, when the next time they brought the next lot of brand new day-old chicks, put it in there, they only went to the one that fed the corn. And now it's saying, oh, well, how the hell does this work? But not just that, there was across the world, other places in other world, they all started to do it as well. So like I'm thinking, well, what's this? And they did the other experiment on, how when someone was going home, the dog would start getting excited. So they'd have cameras in the room, and they say, right, I'm now going home, and the dog would like be, that's it, and they start getting excited because they know you're coming home, even though you was miles away or whatever it was, like, yeah, things like this. So this is that morphic resonance. Now the other side to it is this: these are things that you can't explain, yeah. You can't explain, and I can't produce you the material evidence to substantiate it, except you go and look at the tests. The tests give you the experiments. Now the other one was the 100th monkey. Now the 100th monkey was an experiment, or alleged experiment. I don't know how verified it to be true or not, but they was observing these islands, and I think it was Japan. And on these different islands, yeah, was these monkeys, and these monkeys were digging up potatoes, and they was observing these monkeys on this one island, yeah. Well, they was observing all the monkeys. They say this was the saying goes, but on this one island, they started digging these potatoes up and washing it, and they observed it, and they slowly, yeah, grew the number up. Others watching it, they joined in. Others watching it, and then numbers grew from 10, 20, 30, so forth, until they hit the 100th monkey. And then when they hit the 100th monkey, all the other monkeys on the island started digging these potatoes up and eating them. But not just that, the monkeys on the other islands also did it. So again, it's all down to morphic resonance, right? So by doing what I'm doing, I'm hoping to raise the awareness of other people, that so that they can become aware, and they can now do what I'm doing, and they can make other people aware. Because once we reach this this level, this 100th monkey, this level, I believe everybody's going to become aware of it. And once people have become aware, that's the light shone. That's the full light shone on what's the darkness that's being perpetrated on the people. And once that happens, their game's over. Their lie and the deception and all so on and so forth is over. They're finished, because the people can now see. And that is how we make this world a beautiful place for the future, for my son and for all your children. Yeah, that we've got somewhere. So we've got to raise the peoples in awareness, because that awareness is going to shine. It's going to morphically, it's going to resonate with everybody. And once that happens, we've done it. Because once the people know, the cat's out the bag, guys. The cat's, it's out, it's done. The truth's here. The facts are here. All they can do is try and discredit you. They can't do me for saying anything that I've done wrong. All they do is set a load of fucking pit bulls on them. They're pack dogs. yeah, like Hoaxdad and all the rest of them that come over, that come and put fucking all over people's villa pages and groups all around here, put a video out with a Google map of my address pointing to my house where I live, saying that I'm a paedophile and all this, like expecting somebody to come over here and destroy me and kill me or something. This is their mentality. Remember, they can't come and do the dirty work themselves. They won't come and face me face to face. Even when I went over to England, none of them would come face to face to me, apart from that Nathan Curtin, you know, who came in trying to get me to hit him while I had his film crew behind me trying to get me so that he could arrest me. That's about it, really. None of them, they all failed. All of the scum failed, mate. You know? So at the end of the day, yeah, all we can do is carry on. Carry on regardless. And eventually there, I won't need to keep seeing these people having their children taken off them and their houses taken off them. Can't get in my own email. God bless that. Okay, you can't even get into it. So I mean, that's all you need to do is, now you've downloaded the app, you know, you just go into it and open it up and you create a password. And then once you've done that and you've opened up, I can send you what's it, John. But anyway, apart from that, God bless you all. Keep smiling as always. We are winning, and slowly, yeah, the masses will start. When the police, I mean, and I do hope you police are listening to what I'm saying. I've got no hatred to anyone. I've got no hatred to anyone, mate. And it's not whether I forgive you or the police what you've done. You know, I had a bad enough time to fucking forgive myself, thank you. So I know what you're going to have to go through. And I know most of you, the vast majority of you, you don't know what you're doing. You are innocent. And like Jesus said, forgive them, Lord, for they not what they're doing. They not know what they're doing. You know, that's the thing. You know, it's not about whether I can forgive you. It's whether you can forgive yourself. Believe me. And it didn't matter anyone saying, "Oh, you didn't know what you was doing." No one can tell me. No one can give me forgiveness. If I can't accept it, if I can't accept the forgiveness from myself, that's why I said to the police when the police, and you can ask him, the fucking Burton-on-Trent police, they tried to get him to work for him. Yeah. And as I said to him, like, no one can hurt me more than I can hurt myself. I know what mental pain is. I've been through it. I've gone through it. I had to go through it to become what I am right now. And I had to go through that mental pain to accept, you know, to be who I am, to accept what I had done, you know, because I'd been just like everybody else. We've all been duped. We've all been fooled, you know, and we've done a lot of things that we might think are genuine and great, and so you should be. But boy, when you come to understand the truth, you'll realize you've been fooled, and the things that you've done ain't so good. But you know, you've got to accept it. And when you realize how stupidly easy and obvious it was, and how easy it would have been for you to have gone and done your own discernment, especially on such important things, i.e., like putting a vaccination into my son, and I could have done my own due diligence and realized what was going down there, and I didn't. And that was such an important thing. Who am I to fucking rape my son with a vaccine by holding him while some pharmaceutical, psychotic, fucking trained and educated and indoctrinated piece of crap. Well, another man, actually, I call it. You know, these doctors, it's all for the money, guys. Anyway, I'm sure it resonates with some of you. God bless. And like I say, it helps. Keep smiling. Bye-bye.